Hello, it's Look Movie Recaps here. Today I will explain a 2019 drama, crime, and thriller movie called 21 Bridges. Beware of spoilers and exercise caution. Andre's sole profession that he has ever thought about is being a successful NYPD homicide detective. Andre's father was killed in the line of duty, leaving him alone at the age of 13. He was raised by his widowed mother. Sadly, Andre's father was ambushed by 3 attackers, killed 2 of them, and was then shot and killed by the 3rd attacker. Now, 9 years later, Andre has gained a reputation for finding and killing cop killers. During his 9-year tenure, he killed 8 of them. Andre has thus been summoned before Internal Affairs, who are carrying out their required inquiry on his most recent occurrence. To be honest, Andre doesn't accept the reputation or express regret, but he does note that he has been found not guilty in every prior shooting. Andre devotes his free time to caring for his dementia-stricken mother Vanetta, who occasionally confuses him for her late husband. 2 low-level thieves named Ray and Michael decide to steal 30 kilograms of cocaine that are kept in a wine shop one night in Manhattan. They find 300 keys of uncut cocaine upon arrival, which is 10 times more than they expected, which shocks them. Ray is overjoyed that they've hit the jackpot, but Michael is more measured in his attitude and expresses his concern that they aren't even strong enough to support so much weight by themselves. Ray isn't deterred and starts stuffing the pills into his bag, but he's stopped when he hears the police pounding on the door of the wine shop. 7 NYPD policemen are killed when the responding police break into the business while the robbery is still going on and engage in a fierce gunfire. However, the police are outnumbered by Michael and Ray's automatic weapons. Captain McKenna, of the 85th Precinct, assigns Andre to the investigation and gives him a briefing on the scene. Several other 85th officers are also present, paying their respects to their departed comrades. McKenna begs Andre to live up to his reputation by doing everything it takes to bring the killers to justice. Andre is also assigned to work with drugs detective Frankie because of the quantity of drugs involved. He objects to this assignment, but McKenna insists it's mandatory. In another scene, the robbers take refuge in a remote spot where Michael confronts Ray for killing 7 police officers and even putting the injured to death before they could be subdued. They will now spend the rest of their lives as fugitives as a result of Ray's conduct. In order to set themselves up for leaving town, they meet with Bush, their contact, and want a bigger share of the sale. Returning to the scene of the crime, Andre assumes that the robbers were unprepared for the 300 kilograms, only 50 of the 300 packs were taken, and they only brought 2 persons in a small BMW vehicle. Additionally, the FBI shows up and takes over the situation, something that McKenna and Andre both find very offensive. Andre requests that the entire city be placed under lockdown, so that the suspects can be apprehended before 5 a.m. because he thinks that the drugs will be sold someplace on Manhattan Island before daylight, given the difficulties involved in moving that much weight. Chief of Police Spencer supports the idea and agrees to present it to the mayor, wanting to keep Andre on the case. Consequently, the FBI consents to shutting down all 21 Manhattan bridges until exactly 5 a.m. along with closing all entrance and exit points to the city. They also monitor the rivers, blockade the 4 tunnels, close all rail lines and close tube stations. Bush, in the meantime, brings Ray and Michael to Hawk, the buyer, who at first laughs at their request for further funds, but Michael has already done the maths. By the time they reach the streets, the 50 kilograms have grown to 200. Given that each unit's average street value is $32,000, or about $650,000 in total, asking $1 million seems realistic. Hawk accepts the arrangement and suggests that they get in touch with Adi, a trustworthy cleaner who can help launder the funds through offshore accounts, give them new identities, and provide the required travel credentials. A still image showing Michael and Ray running a red light is found, and Yolanda, Bush's ex-girlfriend, is identified by the vehicle registration. Yolanda hasn't seen Bush since their breakup, but she recognizes Ray and Michael from the traffic cam pictures, and a warrant is delivered to her flat. Along with Michael's older brother Arvel, Ray was a disturbed young man who enlisted in the army. Michael, however, was an intelligent child who had a promising future. Michael left college to join the army after learning about his brother's death while fighting in Afghanistan, but he was dishonorably discharged after hitting his commanding officer. He met Ray again after getting back to civilian life. Ray had assured Michael's brother that he would keep an eye on him since they served together in the forces, and the two got into a criminal routine. When Michael and Ray visit Adi's house, they discover that the island is under lockdown after seeing themselves on the news. Bush turns up at the Pan Am Lounge, which was being watched by authorities, at the same moment to see his new girlfriend. Sergeant Butcho of the 85th Precinct approaches Bush before Andre gets there, intending to assassinate him at the main bar as payback for the policeman deaths. Andre gets there shortly after. He finds out that their lone lead has been slain and that a gun was probably placed on him afterwards, based on the fact that Butcho's ankle holster is empty. Andre confronts the sergeant about the shooting, and things get so bad that in his annoyance, he shoves Andre and gets hit in the face. $326,000 is moved to offshore accounts using Ray and Michael's new false identities back at Audie's condo. They are to take a motorbus to Miami, where the remaining amount will be paid in cash upon arrival. The sound of a police squad, led by Lieutenant Kelly, breaking down Audie's reinforced steel door breaks off their chat. In the shooting that follows, Audie is severely wounded. Before he passes away, he provides Michael the password of 2 flash drives that are stored on his computer. Andre leaves the lounge to head to Audie's condo, curious as to how it was found so quickly. He arrives in time to see Michael and Ray, who barely managed to escape out Audie's window. Ray demands that he and Michael separate in a neighboring kitchen. After sustaining a bullet wound to the belly, he encourages Michael to keep moving and keep his head up because staying together will make them too easy to trace. He also promises to meet Michael in Miami shortly. When Andre introduces himself to a kitchen staff member, the worker gestures to point Andre in the direction of Ray. Ray is too hurt to flee anymore, so he nervously sits in a doorway and accidentally shoots a bystander before Andre shoots him. In another part of the structure, Michael hides amid the frozen meat carcasses, disarms Frankie with the gun's butt, and holds her at gunpoint while using her as a shield. This time, Andre declines Frankie's insistence that he take the shot despite being in the line of fire and attempts to talk Michael out of it. He mentions that Michael attempted to emulate his brother Arvel by citing his service record, and he acknowledges that Ray is the one responsible for all of the killings that have occurred so far. Michael finds resonance in the words and highlights a string of questionable occurrences. When the police arrived at the wine shop, the employee looked at his watch shortly before they knocked softly on the door, something that wouldn't happen if they were responding to a robbery complaint. Later, without notice, Audie was shot through the peephole at the cleaner's condo, and before he ever saw them, he recognized them as the 85th precinct. Using a screwdriver to secure the door behind him, Michael withdraws via the meat locker and frees Frankie. After he makes his getaway on foot, Frankie reprimands Andre for missing the shot. Michael seeks refuge at the Parallax Hotel, which is close by. There, he kidnaps a guest and keeps him captive in exchange for his laptop. McKenna isn't concerned when the FBI shows up at Audie's condo to inform him that the island will soon reopen. He gives Andre a lot of credit for killing Ray, and he still has faith that Andre will track down the other suspect in an hour. Upon accessing the flash drive using the password that Audie provided, Michael discovers that the corrupt officers of the 85th precinct have been involved in drug trafficking, as evidenced by the files that list each officer's badge number. Michael gets a new haircut and dons a stolen suit, but he has to modify his plans when the cops show up at the hotel lobby. He takes a different way through the kitchen, but he is recognized there and is pursued once more. Michael unintentionally darts in front of a car while using defensive moves, falling to the ground. He rushes to stand up, forgetting his money bag behind, and is about to get shot, when Andre steps in to stop it. The tube stations reopen as 5 a.m. draws near, and Michael goes below where he gets trapped on a train. A standoff follows, but after Andre makes a convincing vow to keep him alive and because he's the only cop who speaks first and shoots second, Michael is persuaded to surrender. Frankie, who says she believed Andre was in danger, shoots Michael from behind as he lowers his weapon and gives it up. As Michael draws his last breath, he whispers the password to Andre and hands over the flash drives, while she radios into dispatch to report the incident. Frankie and Andre then go back to their co-workers, who all thank them for their efforts. But when Andre, skeptical as ever, takes Frankie's phone, he finds that she had called Lieutenant Kelly shortly before the raid on Audie's condo. Captain McKenna returns home later that morning to discover Andre waiting for him with a revolver in hand when Manhattan reopens as usual. McKenna is hardly startled because he already knows his purpose. Having gained access to the drives, Andre is aware that the previous night's robbery of the wine shop was only a matter of poor luck and that the 85th precinct has been providing armed security for a high-level drug dealer. Audie was simple to track down because McKenna washes his cash that is illegally with the same cleaner. McKenna responds without hesitating, saying that it was never about Cadillacs or Rolex watches, but rather about the pitiful pay for a career that ends in officers' deaths. Other people experience depression, broken marriages, and a miserable quality of life. Andre finds the words poignant, having lost his father firsthand and growing up in a police household, but he won't give up easily. Just before they open fire, a few 85th officers can be seen heading outside the home. Andre is able to systematically eliminate every single one of them, including McKenna who, while suffering severe injuries, will not surrender. Frankie comes around the corner. She tries to hold Andre at gunpoint and demands the flash drives, but Andre tells her it's already over. He claims that since the drives have been copied, killing him would just result in Frankie receiving a life sentence, her daughter shouldn't have to grow up without a mother. After hearing this, Frankie surrenders her badge and lowers her gun in a tearful manner, allowing herself to be taken into jail. After that, Andre is seen crossing the Manhattan Bridge while the flash drives that are stained with blood are still inside his vehicle. The film ends. Subscribe, like and comment to support the channel. Have a great day.